So this whistleblower story is officially becoming the next big story against Trump. We failed with Russia collusion. We failed with obstruction. We failed with the Stormy Daniels thing. So they just shamelessly, after they've been proven to be liars over and over again, they just jump on to the next story and scream impeachment, impeachment. The story today is as follows. You have a bunch of Democrats calling for impeachment, and even people like Romney having questions with things. Yeah, right. Romney, what a great guy. And the reason is because they're saying now there are reports that a week before Trump actually spoke to the Ukrainian president, he decided to withhold aid to that country. And so the story goes as follows. If Trump withheld this aid and then a week later talked to the Ukrainian president, and if he mentioned anything about the investigation into Joe Biden or Joe Biden's son, this is an impeachable offense because it proves that he was connecting the aid to a personal gain of wanting them to go after his political opponent. Now, what this story really shows is the hypocrisy of the media and the Democrats once again. Now, if you go back and you check out my videos that I've been doing about this situation with Biden and the Ukraine, you'll see that I was showing that their defense of Biden was as follows. Yes, they admit that Biden threatened to withhold $1 billion unless they fired the prosecutor who happened to be looking into his son's company. And yes, that actually worked. And yes, it then went to an agency within the Ukraine, the NABU, that had close ties to the Obama administration and was accused of things in the past such as bearing investigations into American Democrats that were receiving money that could potentially be illegal. And they were also the group that was working illegally to influence the 2016 election by giving a black ledger to Democrats about Paul Manafort and to harm Donald Trump. And people in them were also accused of trying to pass information to Fusion GPS about Russian dirt that could be connected to Trump's campaign. It just so happened that the investigation into Biden's son went to that agency and they buried it. They didn't do anything with that investigation. And the defense of that was this. Yes, all of that's true, but there were other people that said that this prosecutor that Biden wanted fired needed to be fired. And therefore, because there were other people saying that there was another reason to withhold this aid. It wasn't just about Biden's son, that it's okay. We don't even need an investigation. And I was like, that's ridiculous. If this was Trump, you'd be demanding impeachment. There'd be people marching on the streets. No. We don't have 100% proof. Read the articles. Read the articles that I presented before. Everyone, The Intercept, the PolitiFact, all of these, the Washington Post, all of these articles defending Joe Biden say, well, it's a conspiracy theory because we don't have 100% proof that the reason Biden wanted the prosecutor that happened to be looking to his son out had to do with his son. We don't have proof, so that's it. No story. Now let's look back to the whistleblower story here. Do we have 100% proof that the reason Trump withheld the aid was because he wanted an investigation into Biden from the Ukraine? Is there proof of that? Do we see that anywhere? We don't even know what Trump said on the phone. The Washington Post itself has reported that there was no mention of the money or the quid pro quo. The Ukrainian foreign minister said that they weren't pressured to do anything at all. So we don't even know if Trump talked about Biden. We know that Rudy Giuliani had asked him before. He's admitted that. But despite in this situation not knowing any of these facts, there's calls for impeachment. But when we know specifically what went on with the Joe Biden situation, nothing. These same groups have been silent for 3 years. And to this day, they're defending Biden. Remember, just look at this again. Biden got the prosecutor looking into his son fired, and people say, yeah, but there could have been other reasons he wanted that guy fired, so nothing to look at here. Trump decided to withhold aid to a country and then talk to that country. We have no idea what he talked to them about, and that's impeachment. That's proof that Trump withheld that aid because they wouldn't investigate Joe Biden. Where's the proof? We don't see any of it. Why the double standard? So it just kind of goes to show the ridiculous nature of what's going on and how, as I said, if it would have been Trump that threatened to withhold aid and lets the prosecutor looking into his son be fired, people would be screaming. In this case, we have no idea. And look, there's also more stuff that we don't know. Even if Trump did talk specifically about this, we have people such as the Washington Post article that's talking about withholding this aid, quotes Republicans that say the reason that Trump was withholding this aid to the Ukraine is he wanted to talk to the Ukrainian president to find out if he's pro-Russian or anti-Russian. Now, this would make sense because the new Ukrainian president's kind of a wild card. He was a stand-up comedian that ran on basically that the Ukrainian government's corrupt, and he won. So no one really knows what many of his platforms are. People are trying to fill him out. So just like when the Biden situation where we said, oh, people were recommending this prosecutor be fired for other reasons, we have people saying, oh, no, it wasn't anything to do with Biden. It was that this aid was being withheld for other reasons. Yet why the double standard? And remember, we also have allegations and stories that are being reported that actually the Ukrainian government was trying to reach out to Trump and his lawyer to give evidence that they have of corruption by the Democrats and corruption by Biden into the investigation of Biden's son. So if that's the case, in one hand, we have Ukraine reaching out to Trump and Trump potentially just talking about it. On the other hand, through Biden's own account, he threatened to withhold this $1 billion because the Ukrainian government didn't want to do the action he was asking for. And they said, you're not the president. He said, call Obama. Fire that son of a bitch. That's what he said. That's what Biden said in his own reports. And at the end of the day, what we have is the accusation that Biden perverted the course of justice by getting a prosecutor fired that was looking into crimes that perhaps his son committed, and then getting kicked to an agency that he was in cahoots with, and the Obama administration was in cahoots with, that we know ultimately the end of the story is the investigation was buried. Now, put that against what Trump's accused of doing. Even if we believe, we have no idea what Trump said, that's not stopping their calls for impeachment, but even if we believe what the official story is, Trump's calling for the courts of justice. He's saying that, hey, there was an investigation, that there was an allegation was illegally shut down. Can you look into that investigation? That's different than personally gaining by having your son, the investigation into your son, canceled. But it just proves the double standard. Again, where were all these people when Biden did this? Where was the media? Where were all the Democrats calling for impeachment? Heck, where were the Republicans calling for impeachment? None. Calling for an investigation into Obama's administration and Biden. None. But here we all are. So remember, just a quick summary. The defense of Biden is apparently, even though he got the prosecutor looking into his son fired, and even though it got kicked to an agency that was friendly with him and the Obama administration and they buried the story, we don't have 100% proof that that's the reason that Biden wanted that prosecutor fired. Therefore, no need to investigate. It's all a big conspiracy theory. The same people making that argument are saying, well, even though we don't have any proof whatsoever of what Trump said, even though we don't have any proof of why he decided to withhold aid, that is proof. The timing is the proof alone. And therefore impeachment, therefore investigations, we have to get Trump out of office. So it's a ridiculous story, and it just once more shows their double standard. So hey, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please follow me on Twitter and at BitChute, which I'll put the links below. And I'd really appreciate if you recommend me to some other people. I'm trying to get my material out there. I'll be putting material like this out almost every day from here on in the future. I do live streams and things like that as well. So thanks, everyone, and have a good one.